Hey guys, this is Devin with Baseball Concepts, and today we're going to cover 3 steps on how to provide an efficient, powerful swing. And this is aimed at just really all levels of players, but some that have some base in their batting stance. We can't just kind of jump into this. If you look at our previous video on how to build a batting stance, it'll talk about fundamentally where to stand and things of that nature. So step 1, what we want to think about is the load. The load is so important to the hitter. And every hitter really loads a little bit different. You see some guys with giant leg kicks. You see some guys with toe taps. You see some guys who don't even step at all. They just pick their foot up and put it back down. But the goal of a load is to do 2 things. Number 1, it's to make sure our body's in a good position to explode this way. So ideally, a good load, we want to bring our weight into our back hip. Okay, so you're going to feel a lot of tension. When you feel a pinch in this hip flexor here, you feel that uncomfortableness. You should feel a little bit through your leg, down into your knee. That's basically your body like mad at you because it wants to explode that way. And a good load will do that with step 1. Step 2, it's to provide timing for a hitter. So guys with big leg kicks, I get come into our space, and when we're doing lessons, they'll come with this leg kick and they'll slam their foot down and they'll just explode on contact to the floor. No, what we're trying to do is get in rhythm, in timing with the pitcher, making sure we have a nice, soft front step loaded heavily into our back hip. From there, we're going to ground our front heel, and then we're going to get into the next part of our video, step 2. So step 2, and what is arguably one of the more important parts of your swing, is how efficient you are driving. A lot of times I get people in, and you hear all the time from especially little league coaches and lower level coaches, squish the bug, right? And what that means is basically I'm just twisting my foot here, twisting in space like this, and that is supposed to drive a backside. But as you guys can see, when I'm squishing the bug, quote unquote, nothing is happening other than me rotating in space, right? We want to think completely differently than moving on this axis. What we want to think about, if this is the pitcher here, exploding our body through that axis. And the way that we do that is by being efficient with how we drive. So what that's going to do to start from our backside, right? We're going to take our knee and we're going to explode it into our left ankle. We're going to take our hip and we're going to physically try to gain a foot, 2 feet of ground with our back hip and our back knee. Guys who are fantastic at doing this, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, why do you think that their back foot comes off the ground sometimes when they swing? It's because they are so efficient at driving this thing forward that when they explode this way, their hip physically gains so much ground and space, but they have such a strong brake on the front side that they physically come off the ground when that happens. Additionally, our belly button's a huge factor in what we drive. When we're driving our belly button through that pitcher, this is what we're getting. We're working on this axis, which is here. This is where we want to be. This is where we want our power to explode through. Okay? When we're not so good, we're going to take this belly button and we're more so going to drive it into left center field. You see a lot of guys going here, and that's going to take this out, and it's going to take energy that we could have exploded through a pitch, and it's going to leak it that way. Now, if we go here and spin off, are we going to hit the ball hard and far? Yes. I'm not going to tell you that's not the case. But if we're here, we're going to struggle with consistency, especially on outer half pitches. Which leads us to our final step, our weight distribution. If you look in our previous video when we talk about setting up a batting stance, we talk about how important balance is, and guys like Tony Gwynn, the best hitters of all time, talk about how important it is. And it continues on throughout the course of our swing and after our finish. So if I'm going to get in our batting stance, I'm going to go through my entire thing, our weight distribution is going to be huge for us as far as success goes. ideally, you look at AL MVP, Mookie Betts, you look at Mike Trout, you look at all of these different guys, you'll see a consistent theme there. You'll see this diagonal from their foot to their head, okay? You'll see this going on. And you'll also see head, hip, and back knee pretty much in a straight line this way. So as we're swinging, we can still be extremely explosive this way, all while maintaining our weight distribution back in here. And after we're done with our swing, if we're efficient about driving this way, like we just spoke about, and we're able to stay back in here, when we finish, we should be able to be right down in here no matter how hard we swing. But if our weight's out here, or if we're pulling off here, we'll see weight go to our heels. We'll see sometimes falling forward. And ideally where we want to be is right here on our finish, and we can finish and be right down in here. All right, so in summation, the 3 steps, we talked about our load and why it's important. We talked about our efficiency driving from our backside, and we also talked about our weight distribution and where to be in space. If you guys like this video, please subscribe for a ton of content we are going to continue to pour out there to all levels of baseball and softball players.